Today is an exciting day. Finally, we've done a lot of work. We've talked about phase 4 now for a couple of weeks. We had to get a stand built. We did that. We got the fish out of the old 125 and back in and lowered that tank and got that on the lower level. Today, finally, we get to add the new 125, get that on the upper level. It's an exciting time, and I think it's one of the best setups that we've done. So stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics, and yes, we've got a fun day ahead of us. We've got some fish that need to move to a larger tank. We've talked about it before, but we've got the Geophagus winemilleri. These are going to be magnificent fish. But right now, we've got 9 of them growing out in a 10-gallon, and they have reached a point where that 10-gallon is no longer sufficient for how large they are. We are looking so forward to getting those fish out of that 10-gallon and into a tank where they can really start to show off their colors and grow in size. The other really cool thing that we have the Severums, these red gold Severums. I'm very interested to see what kind of colors they produce as they get larger. As you know, for those of you who have kept Severums before, they are usually pretty dull in color when they're young, but as they get older, that's when a lot of their color comes out. And I think that nice red-orange color is going to look awesome in a tank that has a dark background, dark substrate. It's really going to show off their colors, and the combination between the two should be pretty awesome. So now we've got Joanna coming in. She's going to go ahead and do the aquascape because she does a better job with these things than I do, far more patient than I am. So we'll take you through that process. We will show you how we set up the tank, so stay tuned. All right, everyone, so this is what we're starting with. It is a blank slate, the top 125. We're going to go ahead, get some sand in here, and Joanna's go ahead and gonna get the rock work in, and we got some pretty cool wood, probably tie in some Java moss, so that's what's next up. All right, so here's the tank. Water just got in there. I think Joanna did a fantastic job of setting this up. Obviously there's a lot of bubbles. We're gonna let the water settle down, then get the fish in, and I will come back and show you that when we are done. All right, everybody, so here it is. This is the brand new 125 setup. Let's talk a little bit about what Joanna did. We'll talk about the fish, and how we've got this thing set up. So I guess the first thing is the fish. They're the stars of the show, and we'll get some close-ups here in a second. We've got, as I mentioned before, some really nice fish that we're super excited about. Of course, fish number one are the red gold Severums that you're seeing. There are 5 of them. They were growing out in that 20. They were getting pretty large for that 20 gallon. Super excited to have them in this 125. I think they're going to look awesome as soon as this water isn't quite so cloudy and they get used to their surroundings, and they're starting to now. Very excited to see them in a much larger setup. The other thing, and I've said this a number of times before, but I think these are going to wind up being some of the nicest looking fish we have in our fish room, and that is these Geophagus winemilleri. There are 9 of them in this tank right now, and they are amazing fish. They're going to look like the Geophagus sirenamensis that's in the 150 on the other side of the fish room. They're going to have amazing color and awesome finnage, and we're super excited to have them, and I think this is going to be a great setup for them. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a large enough tank to keep 9 of these Geophagus plus the 5 red gold Severums, but they're going to be in here for a while. I think this is going to be a big enough tank for them for the foreseeable future. The water's still a little cloudy. It's only been about 24 hours since we set this up, so we've got a little bit of ways to go there. So really super excited about the fish. The only other thing I think I'm going to add to this tank at some point are maybe 3 or 4 super red bristlenose once there is enough for them to graze on. I'm not in a super big hurry to get that done yet, but I think we will eventually. Okay, what else do we have going on in here? So the hardscaping, Joanna did that. We've got some really cool spiderwood over there on the left-hand side. Right now that is being weighed down by that pile of rocks. If we moved that pile of rocks, the wood would float because it's still new. So we'll give it some time, and we might shift those rocks around on the left-hand side once that wood is waterlogged. On the right-hand side, we've got another piece of wood, and we've got some more stone. I think she did a really good job with it. At some point in the future, we might try to add some Java moss, maybe even a little anubias. The problem that we're going to have, of course, is those red gold Severums. They like to snack on plants, as most Severums do. So we'll have to be careful there. I'm not exactly sure if plants will work out, so for right now, we're going to leave it as is, and I really like the way this tank turned out. Filtration, what do we got going on? So for right now, and I know it's not necessarily fitting with a fully aquascape tank, but we do have the 3 sponge filters in there. I don't necessarily know if we're going to need them long term. I might remove one of them, maybe that one in the middle. The thing is, the Geophagus are going to like to sift through that sand, and when they do so, they'll kick some stuff up. So the sponge filters will help a little bit with the mechanical filtration, certainly with the biological filtration. Now those sponge filters are brand new, so they don't have any bacteria load just yet. What does have bacteria load, and the reason why we're not worried about a cycle tank, is the fact that hang on the back filter that you see in the center, that is a Marineland Penguin 350. I've done reviews on these before. I will put a card in the upper right hand corner. We love these filters. They're not super expensive. They're just workhorses for us. We've got one in here, and that really is mostly for mechanical filtration. Again, because of the Geophagus, I expect to have water clarity issues without a hang on the back filter, so we added that in there, and I think that's going to solve our issues. Provides a little bit of water flow as well, so we just got one of those in the center. I think it's going to do a great job of keeping this tank clear in the long term. Lighting right now, we've got just 2 Phoenix Stingray 36-inch lights, and I love these lights. We've done a video before about how the lights that we use, and we featured the Phoenix Stingray. I will put a card in the upper right hand corner for that in case you want to see more information. But we really like the lights, the natural light that they give. I'm not looking to go super bright on this tank, so I think I will just leave the 2 Phoenix Stingray lights and those only. The only thing that I need to do in the near future is I've got to make some tops, some lids for this tank, because I don't have any right now, and I don't want a lot of water evaporation, and I also don't want to find a fish on the floor, especially as much as I love these fish. So we're going to go ahead and we'll probably do the polycarbonate tops. Again, I've got videos on that, and that will also appear in the upper right hand corner. Those are great. They're lightweight, they're super easy to make, and they're super cheap. And with the fact that we've got a couple more 125s going in, I think those will be a great lid to have as opposed to buying glass and spending a lot of extra money. We did paint the background black. I've shown you how to do that before as well in the past. We went with black sand I think it's going to do the best job of showing these fish off. I think it's going to be amazing. So we look forward to seeing what they look like as they get older. I think the tank turned out awesome. I love the aquascaping. I love the placement of the rocks. We haven't really done a lot of spiderwood in our fish tanks before, and I like the way this turned out. We may at some point add some Java moss. We didn't do it this time around just because we wanted to have the basic layout. There's always a problem with Severums. Severums like to eat plants, and so therefore that limits to a certain degree what types of things we can put in the tank. If the Severums weren't there, we probably could have gone with more greenery. We'll try the Java moss at some point in the future, maybe tied to that spiderwood. But for now, I really love the way it turned out. I think it's going to allow the fish to show some really great colors, especially when they get older. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the tank still probably isn't large enough for 5 red gold Severums and 9 Geophagus winemilleri. These Geophagus are going to get pretty large. They might get up to a foot long, at least 8 or 9 inches minimally. And to have 9 of those plus the red Severums in a single 125, that may not work, so we may have to thin the herd out a little bit when it comes to the Geophagus, but for right now I think it's going to be awesome, and we will do periodic updates to show you how they're coloring up, to show you the finish. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We still have the super red bristlenose to add to that tank. I'm going to wait to do that until we have a little bit more for them to snack on, until that tank ages a little bit. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, because we've still got more to do with Phase 4. We still have 2 more 125-gallon tanks to add. We have the 50-gallon lowboy that's going to go on the other side, and we have Joanna's little nano tank shelf that she wants on the other side as well, and I think it's going to be fun. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.